Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice but get on. Mandate. You get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you. Alonzo Bodden in the studio. Good to see you, Alonzo.
Great to see you, as always.
And Max Zapata.
Hey, guys.
All right. Before we get into everything, we're looking for some old tape. We're narrowing it down, which was Joe Coy's first appearance on my radio show many years ago. But I didn't even know who Joe Coy was. I don't even think I was told his name because it wouldn't have mattered. It could have been Joe Bloggs, Joe Smith. It wouldn't have mattered. But he called in as Kobayashi, who had all the titles in the eating competitions.
Right.
And we had Joey Chestnut on as a guest. And we didn't tell Joey Chestnut that Kobayashi was going to be calling him in and verbally attacking him. And it made me laugh, but I felt bad for Joey Chestnut, who didn't really know what exactly was going on.
So he wasn't prepared.
He was not
Did
prepared.
he get hurt? His feelings get hurt, or did he get mad?
It's been such a long time, but obviously Chestnut just got done winning the Nathan's hot dog eating competition,
Oh, yeah.
so I thought it was relevant. The other thing that's not relevant is I was driving in, listening to the oldie station, and you know you're old when the oldie. I've lived in this town my whole life, and the oldie station, K-Earth, used to play doo-wop songs and Dion and the Belmonts and the Shirelles. And now
I know where you're going.
Now you know where I'm going because you're old too. Now it's fucking Flock of Seagulls and shit.
You know what happens? You know the words.
Yes.
You know the words to the songs on the oldie station. You're like, oh, wow, I'm done.
But the oldies are, when I was listening to K-Earth in the early 80s, mid 80s, when the contemporary music was like the Romantics and Flock of Seagulls and shit like that. The oldies were only 20 years before that.
The oldies were the
Frankie
60s.
Valli in early 60s, mid 60s or whatever. And now Flock of Seagulls is further away from 2023 on K-Earth in the 80s than the oldies were, the Four Seasons were when I was listening to it, which... it's one of those things that makes you feel old. It's like when you find out how old Captain Stubing was first season, and you're 10 years older than him. That's just old.
I read something about one of those, like it's like we're farther away from 1980 than like the Depression was compared to 1980.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate that because I remember it.
I remember when I was like 12 years old going... In the year 2000, how old am I going to be in the year 2000? Unclear whether we're ever going to see the year 2000 back then. But I
We have
remember
a license for the flying car.
I remember thinking how old I was going to be and how old that would be. Also, there's something I've been thinking about with dates, which is in like 1985, it was easier to go. It was February 22nd, 1985. Now they'll go, it's February 22nd, 2023, and our second number, I don't even know how to articulate this, but meaning the second set of numbers, 2023, 2019, it's all within the numbers of a month, 0 to 30 or 1 to 30.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes for extra confusion because in 1987, you never get mixed up where you'd like go, wait, was it February 22nd or was it 2022 and February 23rd? Like the numbers had their own box and you'd never mistake them.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of the younger people listening to this right now saying, the hell's he talking about? Like, yeah, but I get it.
Well, what I was listening to on K-Rock was a song that I hate, but I never really screamed about it into a microphone. So here it goes. Def Leppard's "Pour Some Sugar on Me." Because they did an extended version of it, and an extended version of it is insane because the short version of it sucks. All right, you can't. If you like this song, you don't like music. That's it. It's easy. It's an easy equation.
I think
or you
the song
don't
sucks.
know music.
I think the song sucks, but the chorus rules.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And it was a good video, right?
I
Iconic.
guess.
Yes,
Yeah, it was a great
that
video.
one. There was one girl in that video
Right.
who lifted her shirt, and they cut away before she lifted her shirt. And as a 13-year-old Mike Dawson, you just wanted to be at that show and just see what was really under that shirt.
That was like the early age of videos. Like looking back now, kind of the golden age of videos, where they actually had something to show you. Yeah.
And any credit for Def Leppard's drummer?
He had both arms for that song.
Oh,
He did.
He may have had a third. They didn't say how many he started with.
Adam's like the toughest critic in the world. Oh, well, he had both arms, so no, you get no points for that.
I didn't know that. I was listening to the intro, and I was like, oh, that could be played one-handed, sure.
If you're a drummer and your drums can be played with one hand, you're not that good.
Oh, yeah. Fuck these guys. First off, I would argue nobody in this band needed both arms for this song. Bass, guitar, keyboard. This is not a two-handed song. You do not need two hands for this song.
No master instrumentalists on this one. Just
No.
crank it up. Just crank it up to 11 and play.
You guys, Alonzo, you're out on the road. You're on your motorcycle all the time. Speaking of the road, by the way, Alonzo's got live dates coming up everywhere. It's going to be at Flappers, as you hear this, tomorrow in Burbank, and Hermosa Beach Comedy Magic Club Saturday. Then he's hitting it to South Carolina, Charleston Music Hall, July 14th. For all the dates, go to alonzobodden.com. I am curious now I don't really mind road rage, but I kind of mind uninspired road rage, like road rage for shit that didn't happen. You know, it's like I've told you, I've told everyone a million times. Like sometimes there's a parking lot I park in. There's a big cube truck that always parks right by the curb, right there. You can't see shit.
Yeah.
So you very slowly start inching. You're trying to turn right out on the street, but you can't see
blind,
anything.
yeah.
So you just inch out. And then at some point you see a car and you stop. And then the person in the car gives what the fuck
Maybe
is
it weighs
happening?
on the
And
horn.
it's like, what's happening? There's perfect context for what is happening.
Thank you.
I am inching out and I stopped. That I didn't hit you. I saw you. As soon as I saw you, I stopped. I was pulling out, but I had a good one coming home from Vegas. I was pulling out onto PCH the other day, and there's a kind of long run up, and then there's two lanes, and I started to pull out, and I was like, man, I'm not going to make it. And I just stopped, and both lanes were wide open. And cars were zooming by, and the lane closest to my front bumper, they were just zooming by. But about the seventh car, the woman had to stop in front of me and do the hands all over the place. And it's like, lady, I stopped. I started to come out.
She
but
couldn't drive in a straight line
she
in her
then
lane.
went right past me, too. Yeah. But she had to slow down and mock. And I had a big one coming home from Vegas. I stopped at the Terrible's gas station, which is awesome. By the way, every town has a better gas station than whatever we have in LA. You can use the bathroom. It's
Souvenir
clean.
shop.
There's souvenirs. There's no steely eyes.
Terrible's has that huge one, right, with like 90 pumps in it or something
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
right there by like Cactus Pete's or something.
Yeah.
I'm pulling back onto the 15, and I'm pulling, and I get right behind a semi-truck in the right lane that's going like 45 miles an hour. So with the blinker on, try to sweep out into the next lane. There's a squatted Honda, black with a limo tint on it, that is in my blind spot right as I'm trying to whatever. They lay on the horn. I immediately go back. I don't really go into their lane, but I immediately stop moving. And that was it. Blinker was on, started to move, horn honk. But the chick in the passenger seat of the Honda, window comes all the way down. seatbelt off for a full torso fuck off. Like, not just the hand and torso. She shot out of the window. And it wasn't down the road. It wasn't, by the time I got to Zizix, it was one move where the window came down, the belt came off, and her torso came out with the fuck off in milliseconds. Yeah. Like she was poised for this.
Well, you know what I love about that?
Which is much more dangerous than whatever it is I was doing.
I know hot-rodded Hondas are your favorite cars. Mm-hmm. I know there's nothing you love more
the front wheel burnout.
Small Japanese car
front
making
wheels,
a ton of noise.
laying rubber.
Always a hatchback.
That just added to it, the fact that it was that. No, it's just the lack of consideration, right? Like this morning, and for me, it all depends on what mood I'm in, because this morning I got cut off by a BMW X7 with the new car plates on it. Mm-hmm. And all I was thinking was, wow, that's like a $90,000 SUV that doesn't come with turn signals.
Right.
Man, you would think they'd throw those in, but that's because I was in that mood. But if I'm in the rage mood, then I got to catch him and make him pay somehow, but you're right. There are times when, because everyone's thinking about themselves, right? So like when you're inching around that truck, no one's thinking, oh, that's why he's doing it, because he can't see around that truck. They're just thinking, why is this guy pulling in front of me?
But don't we have total context to any road transgressions, because it's just millions of people all sitting in a vehicle, like attempting to do things in unison. There's just going to be X amount of percent of I didn't see you or I couldn't see around the cube. Like, don't we all know what's going on?
It happens.
My part. Like, where's the outrage come from? People, surprise and outrage.
Yeah.
And by the way, she hangs her torso out. I mean, hangs out like wow. Like was a Super Bowl parade or something. She was just hanging out. She was going full Fast and Furious. I thought she was going to climb out on the hood and try to jump on the semi. But here's the other thing. We're on the 15. There is nothing between Terrible's casino, Terrible's 90 pump. There's nothing on that 15 between that and Toluca Lake. Right. It's a 2-lane highway. We are going to be looking at each other for the next 128 miles.
There's no same elevator.
There's no turnoff. There's no anything. We're just sitting with each other now.
Weird. Stop for a date shake in what's that place? With the giant thermometer.
We're the Baker.
Baker.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the.
We could go to the Bun Boy.
The electronic thermometer.
We could go to the Mad Greek. We're just sitting next to each other. Now, either I'm behind them, or they're behind me, or we hit traffic and we're just next to each other.
Now, probably avoiding eye contact.
The weirdest thing in the world. Like, is she loading up a gun? This woman's nuts. Now I'm next to her. We're stuck in traffic. Ugh.
I got to tell you, man, and this is from riding a motorcycle, right? Because when you're riding a motorcycle, you're just more aware of everything around you, partly because everything around you can kill you. Mm-hmm. But you're also in a perspective where you can see into cars and you can see what people are doing. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to say half the people on the freeway at any given moment, driving the car is like the third most important thing they're doing.
Right.
That it doesn't rate. They're on the phone. They're
listening to pour some sugar on me.
Right. They're
being angered.
They're playing with their device, whatever it be. I mean, now it's iPads. It used to be phones. Now people just crack out the iPad while they're driving. So you know, Jeez. And then they look up and they're shocked. Like, you ever see when there's a bad accident on the straight part of the freeway? And you're like, okay, someone was on the phone.
Right.
Like, there's no other way you could crash into and it's 3 or 4 cars, and they're decimated. And you're like, okay, someone was on the phone. There's no turn here. Their visibility is fine, or this or that. So what you're talking about, it doesn't surprise me at all, because, and now you got the auto driving. Like, on a bike, when I see a Tesla, I just assume they're not driving it. I just assume it's an automatic, because you can't take that chance, right? 'Cause I've seen people holding the bowl and eating
ramen.
Jeez.
And you're like, okay, I'm going to avoid that. So
if you are going to air drum to Def Leppard now, can you only use one arm?
You have to go one-armed.
And then use the kick pedal, like extensive use of the kick pedal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to
them's the rules.
Are people in the audience like at a like just doing the one hand
behind your back?
Right. Is that support or is that you're making fun of him? You know
No,
what I mean?
support.
I think it's a tip of the cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's rude if you use both arms.
Yeah. Then you're showing off.
Yeah. When you're splitting lanes, Alonzo, and a car moves left to give you more room, are you giving them the point as a thank you?
Yeah. I thank them. I give them the wave, the two finger.
Two finger.
Thank you. I got to say that is something that has changed over the years. Like you talk about back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, when you split lane, people resented it to the point they try to kill you. There'd always be somebody who tried to pull in front of you or this or that. What? Now it's the opposite. Now, usually if they see you, they
defeated.
Move out of the way.
Yeah, they're defeated. But people used to not like the lane splitters.
Right. And the best thing is when you get behind a cop, because now you can just, like, he's doing 80 and he doesn't mind you following. We'll be a caravan of bikes. And we're like, I dare you to pull out. Look at my friend. Look at my friend up there, Mm-hmm. So that's the best lane splitting. But even that now has gotten crazy just because there's too many cars on the road. I mean, the 101, it's a fight when you get on the 101. It's like, okay, I got to do battle to get from point A to point B. It's really exhausting now.
You know what I never really get? There is a rhythm to every freeway and every off-ramp or overpass and stuff, and you have to learn the rhythm of the freeway. The 101 heading here, at some point when it runs into like the 170, you got to move to the right because it starts clogging up on the left.
Don't tell them.
You're right. But I'm amazed that people just drive their whole life and never get the rhythm of the freeway. The 405, as you get onto the 101, you got to move to the right again. Yeah. Like there's a rhythm to everything. And I'll be with people who lived here for 30 years and they're just almost stopped in the wrong lane. It's like, you commute. You should know the rhythm of and when it's time to start moving over. I never get
moves
that.
Ahead.
Yeah, be a couple moves ahead.
What kills me is on the 405 when it starts going up the hill out of the valley. It's like all you got to do is step on the gas. Like traffic, all you have to do is step on the gas and traffic will move.
Literally.
Instead, they'll coast the car. The car is doing 80. Now it's doing 50. It's like, see that thing under your foot?
This is exhibit A of how far out of it people are when they drive. Because I just drove home from Vegas and had that thing. Long uphills, you're going 49. Now we're going down. We're going to 87, And it's like there's a device that you can operate with your big toe. And you only have to push it another 3/8 of an inch and you'll maintain this
Keep
speed.
Going the same speed.
But they can't do it. They start slowing down. And by the way, anyone who's driven sort of enthusiastically, competitively or whatever, going up the hill, you can drive the hardest going up the hill. The weight is pushing down on the suspension. Braking distance will be shorter. It's a more controllable.
Yeah, you're more in control going uphill than downhill.
Yeah, if you go to Laguna Seca has a long back straight, like a long back uphill right before the carousel, and is it the carousel? Which one's on the?
No, the corkscrew.
Corkscrew, sorry. Right before the corkscrew. And going up it, you're just flat, hauling ass, whatever. Coming down the backside, you're getting loose. You're feathering the throttle. You're quick shifting. Like, it's a different feeling. You feel lighter coming down that versus going up. So people should be hauling ass uphill. We have all the power. We have the ability. We can do it now. Yeah. Said that was the whole rhythm of going home from Vegas.
Get some 405 drivers on the corkscrew. That'd be a good test for drivers. Can you get around them?
Yes. Pass on the dirt like Zanardi.
Yeah.
I think that was
Rossi
the name of the guy.
did that on a bike once.
On the dirt.
Insane. He did it on the dirt, yeah.
Wow.
It's one of the most famous passes. He just came down the dirt, hit the pavement, went right, and everybody just said, "Oh, that's why he's Rossi." Like that's why he's the GOAT.
Is he still racing, by the way?
No, he retired about 2 years ago.
Talking about Valentino?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We have Kobayashi. We got some 4th of July thoughts as well. I think we'll take a break, come back with Alonzo and play some Kobayashi right after this. Let me tell you about Turo. Innovative. It's the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, wherever you want, from a community of local hosts. Browse a huge selection of vehicles for just about any occasion or budget. Book an SUV or a minivan for a family road trip, a pickup truck for some errands, or even test drive an EV. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Find your drive. Forget your boring rental cars at Turo, Turo.com. Well, let me tell you about Simply Safe. When break-ins happen, every second counts. Latest innovation from Simply Safe is 24/7 live guard protection. Only possible with Simply Safe's new Smart Alarm wireless indoor camera. With a fast Protect monitoring plan, Simply Safe agents can see and deter intruders through the camera, warning them that they're being recorded and that police are on the way. Plus, advanced motion detection and vision AI can sense the difference between potential intruders and pets. These guys are a great company. Their product keeps evolving. They've been with us for 1,000,000 years, and they just keep growing and getting better and innovating. And right now, my listeners get 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Huge offer, limited time. Visit Simply Safe, 2 I's in there, simplysafe.com/Adam. That is simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Alonzo's got dates all over the place, and you can check him out at alonzobodden.com for all those dates. Got that Kobayashi, which was Joe Coy calling in and screwing with Joey Chestnut when he was a guest on my morning show. 08, 07, I don't know. Early-ish.
I don't know, but that was some of Jimmy Brusco's best producing ever.
Was that him?
I don't know.
No,
but
that was August.
Yeah.
Telling Joe Coy to call in as Kobayashi.
Yeah, I have 08.
08.
Wait,
and
sorry, 06, excuse me. August of 06.
Wow, early.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a unknown Joe Coy fucking with Joey Chestnut, who at this point, Joey Chestnut is making his move toward the crown, toward the strap, toward the belt, but I don't think he's the GOAT yet.
No.
It's Kobayashi who's the GOAT. All right.
Wait, hold on. We have Kobayashi on the phone. He doesn't like what Joey's been saying. Kobe?
Joey Chestnut, sir. You should not even train because you're a big loser.
Oh, no. Now, these are fighting words. Listen, Kobayashi. Oh, look, he's training right now.
Commitment.
I'm
Sounds like he's on sausage.
real dog, sir.
Wow.
Real dog, sir.
Kobayashi, I got to say that I think my man Joey's going to beat you next 4th of July.
That is a shame, Adam Carolla, that you are big loser like a Joey Chestnut.
Joey, can you beat Kobayashi?
Oh, yeah. This is I've come a long way. He's just a little guy. He's going to get beaten.
But you said that last time and you couldn't beat him. Leslie's amused.
Joey! What are you talking about, sir?
No, I beat him in a 1-minute contest once.
You are not a hot dog. You are a hot beach.
Oh, wow. Those are fighting words.
Oh, that is a funny.
Next time I see him, I'm going to hit him, and he's not going to go, what happened?
Yes.
I was born to eat a hot dog.
I understand.
The reason why I was born on the year of the dog.
I see.
That day was a very hot. I don't know if you get it, but it was one hot dog.
No, I did the math about 4 minutes ago. That is huge.
Oh, Joey Chestnut is a CC.
Oh, he called you a
Hey,
CC.
I got a bet for you, Joey. How about if this time you win, I retire. But if I win, I give your wife a foot-long hot dog.
You're Asian, man.
Wow.
Always give her cocktail weenie.
It's not subtle.
He's obsessed with frankfurters. I gotta say,
Joey Chestnut, so you are a CC.
I've not heard Kobayashi speak until this point.
Everyone thinks I eat a hot dog with the water. I eat it with the sake.
Well, it is true. You do have to dunk the bun, right?
Yes, you do have a dunk. But I am dunking a sake.
Wow. Joey, I got to tell you, your work is cut out for you next year.
Joey, just
Yeah, there's gonna be a little
retire.
pressure.
Go back to being a fat.
Called you fat.
Joey Chestnut is a loser.
All right, Kobayashi, thanks for calling in.
Carolla,
Yeah.
one thing I want to say.
Yeah.
I eat a hot dog so much, I poop in links. And then I eat them again.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. He is a maniacal, driven man. He's a foe with one thing on his mind. He's obsessed with hot dogs and you.
Yeah, I'm going to beat him, though. It's pretty obvious.
Okay, I don't know. Here's a man who defecates links. I mean, I don't know if he's kidding or exaggerating, but I believe him. And then he eats him again.
All right.
It's definitely for fun. We're going to.
Well, now Joey Chestnut's on top of the world.
Now Joey's the man. Joe Coy's Kobayashi sounded like an Asian guy met Macho Man Savage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pro wrestler, sure.
Yeah, maybe he could win a Slim Jim eating competition.
I remember there were clips of Kobayashi calling in, and you guys would play a game called Which Weighs More, something like that, Fat Tad or Big Tad, and then you would pick something like, or 50 watermelons. And then Kobayashi would always say it was Tad.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, or like a walk-in freezer or something, or like a vertical freezer, something like that.
A Ford Escort or Big Tad.
Well, we all know that. But one of Alonzo's bikes could weigh less than Big Tad.
Could be.
I mean, not the one you rode today.
No, but
That's
sport bike would.
Yeah, sport bike would. All right.
Did you watch the Joey Chestnut competition or the Nathan's
No,
competition this year?
but my son was talking about it. His friends were talking about it. Like they're into it.
How many did he put away this year?
62. Well, okay, so here's what happened. It was the contest. It's the 16th annual. It was supposed to kick off at noon.
Wait, you said 16th annual?
Yeah.
Nathan's?
16th Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest.
We've been doing this podcast for 16 years.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe that. I don't know. That's what the article said. Oh no,
All right.
sorry. Excuse me.
When you see stuff that sounds retarded, you got to stop and go.
I'm not there.
Yeah,
He won his 16th. Excuse me. So,
16th win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16th.
Yeah, because
You didn't let me finish. It's his 16th annual win. Let me finish my
right.
sentence.
Coney Island.
So the contest was initially supposed to happen at noon, but then there was some lightning, so they put a delay on it, and then announced, it's canceled this year. Sorry, everybody. But Joey came out. He was determined. There are videos of him just walking around. He had his game face on. And he looked kind of awkward and weird about it, but he was so serious. He was in the zone. He even said this to somebody, quote, "I'm going to get the rest of the guys out, and we're going to do this fucker."
Well, because of they cancel. First off, lightning is something that happens quite frequently on this planet, and the plan is I get getting off the golf course because you're holding a metallic rod in the air on your backstroke. You know what I mean? And maybe
Which would make it so much more interesting if they did play through.
Yeah, but I get it. I get that. But do we all just have to go inside when there's lightning all the time? Like, I just don't feel like. I mean, what? There's probably a greater chance of the stage collapsing and somebody getting injured than certainly than someone being hit by lightning.
It's so rare to get hit by lightning. It's the standard for things being rare. Right?
That's right. It's right.
It's the standard. Like, well, you could get hit by light. Like, it's such
they
a
always
rare
do
occurrence.
you have a greater chance of being hit by lightning than you do being shot as an unarmed black man with a white police. They always do hit by lightning.
Yeah.
Hit by lightning are your chances, and things to find is still the needle in the haystack.
But I guess they just, especially now with liability, like somehow if somebody's outside watching them eat hot dogs and they get hit by lightning, they get to sue Nathan's.
I say most people who get hit by lightning not survive and then turn their life around.
Oh, yeah.
There's probably a son or a daughter they haven't reached out to in over a decade. They probably make that phone call that afternoon.
If you get hit by lightning and you don't reset your life, you know what I mean? Like how little, what's your level of not give a fuck when you get hit by lightning and you're still like, I'll keep doing shit the same.
You got to give up something or start something.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be reborn somehow.
Yeah, you have to, there has to be somebody you've done wrong that you need to go right that wrong with.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so there's a lightning delay, but then they announce, contest is on 2 hours later. Here's Joey's intro. This is how they introed him to the show. This is half of it because it was really long, but it's pretty epic.
Simultaneous and endless, erasing cause and effect and opening all possibilities before us. And the ancient powers are subordinated to their own creation, and they smile at his achievement, and they say he shall live forever. For he does not do it for money. He does not do it for glory. He does it for his people. He does it for his country. He does it for freedom. And the gods shine down on us now. And the gods shine down on us still. Because of him alone. Because of him alone. The Nathan's famous 4th of July champion of the world. Joey Chestnut!
Wow, that was some Michael Buffer-esque shit
I think
there.
if that's your intro, you could stop the lightning yourself.
Yeah, you
Right?
have the
There
power
was-
of Zeus.
Yeah, he had powers in there, freedom.
Yeah.
He's a god or something was in there. Yeah, I think you can just stop the lightning
Right.
and go on with the contest.
10-minute contest, 62 hot dogs. He beat second place. He ate 14 more than the second place finisher. 62, by the way, is far below his projected total. He's actually expected to be around 71 or 72
Yeah,
dogs.
there's an over-under.
Right, but the 2-hour delay affected everyone's ability to eat in top form.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's why everyone went below. So
Why?
Whoever
That's why you
beats
don't want to
him-
be late for dinner.
What is that?
Whoever beats
That
him
2 hours.
has to just walk up with no intro. Like, how you
Yeah.
doing? My name's Bill. And then just knock out 75 hot dogs and just be like, what's all the noise
Then
about?
walk
I'm
off.
still
Yeah.
hungry.
Gotta go.
Bill's like, where are the fries?
That'd be epic.
That's the guy you
Yeah.
want.
it's like in basketball. Like remember when Dame Lillard beat when he shot that shot over Paul George?
Yeah.
In the game winner, and he just straight faced, didn't
Yeah.
celebrate or anything.
I'm thinking when Mike Tyson didn't wear socks.
Right.
Didn't wear
just
socks.
wore a towel.
And he wore
over
just
his-
a towel with a hole cut in the head of it and just pull his head through it. Like a weak ass poncho.
Right.
But that meant he meant business.
Yeah, and he'd walk in and like usually there was a time where if you made it to the second round against Tyson, you did pretty damn good. Like you
Right.
like wow.
That's right.
I heard the bell at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
You knew in the second round you were dead, but at least you could say I made it through the first.
That's an
Yeah.
accomplishment.
That's when
that you brag
he
about,
would
yeah.
just storm out there. Like he would walk angry to the ring
Yeah.
and he didn't say anything. You imagine that stare down when he's staring at you with all that hate. You know, that's in that minute you're rethinking your entire boxing career. You're like, I could have been an accountant.
Well, maybe not an accountant, but
well, something.
could have operated some heavy equipment or
Forklift.
something.
Yeah, you could be
Yeah.
driving a forklift.
Yeah.
You're
All right.
sitting there like, Mike, for whatever you're thinking, I am truly sorry.
Yeah. By the way, in this contest, the women's contest, Miki Sudo won for the 9th time. She ate 39 and a half dogs. She won by that half dog.
Oh, I wonder. Do they have the women's and the men's,
Yeah.
right? I wonder if there's going to be some stuff going on where people
Joey
are...
in a wig.
Joey in a wig.
He wants both titles. By the way, so there's more stuff on Joey that I thought was interesting. So he earned over $500,000 last year. So his net worth is about $4 million. His income generated by contest earnings, paid appearances, endorsement deals. But he was originally in 2010. He left his job.
Also, he doesn't have to spend any money on food,
Right.
Because he eats like 75 spare ribs, and then probably doesn't need to eat for another 4 months.
He can hibernate.
Hibernates, and then comes out and eats more spare ribs.
What kind of health coverage does he have? Because there's a massive heart attack in his future.
Well,
just one day, his heart's just going to be like, okay, we're done.
He must have some pretty good health insurance because in 2010 he left his job with a construction management company, and then he thought, I'm going full-time competitive eating. With the blessing of his mother, he decided to go full-time, and the company. So there's a company that wanted to promote and participate in 4 competitive eating contests and would pay him $10,000 for each event. So he thought, okay, I can make some real money for this thing. And then Pepto-Bismol sponsored him, of course.
Oh, yeah, right.
So that's how he's been making his money.
He's got that pistachios commercial now, right?
He had a pistachio. Yeah, he
had
had one.
the pistachio commercial.
So
he made some coin for that.
Let me tell you some of the other food contests he's won and how much he's eaten. So the record for hot dogs, he's ate 76 dogs in 10 minutes, of course. Hard-boiled eggs, 141 in 8 minutes.
Wow.
Glazed donuts, 55 in 8 minutes. Pulled pork sandwiches, 45 in 10 minutes. Taco Bell soft shell beef tacos, 53 in 10 minutes.
I like all of that. I just don't like any of the wing stuff. I don't like wings and ribs because it's hard to quantify how much is left on the wing, on the bone.
You got to check the bone. Yeah, wings, by the way, 413 in 12 hours.
In 12 hours?
12 hours.
Yeah, I feel like I could do that.
Wow, Dawson's done that.
So here's the question, okay? Because Joey Chestnut has now won his 16th mustard belt. Let me give you some other stats. Bill Russell, 11 NBA titles. Henry Richard, 11 Stanley Cups. Tom Brady, 7 Super Bowls. Yogi Berra, 10 World Series titles. Is Joey Chestnut the goatest of the goats? The greatest goat to ever goat?
No, but he's impressive, and I'll even give him athlete status. It's physical,
impressive.
it's difficult, and I couldn't do it.
But here's the huge difference. Every other one of those guys you talked about had to go against defense. So it doesn't count unless someone's punching Joey in the stomach while he's eating.
Remember last year? Well, actually, remember last year there was a guy who ran up like a protester, and mid-eating, Joey headlocks him, throws him off the stage, and continues eating and wins.
Wow.
So there was a little bit of defense.
Impressive. All right. The other thing I was thinking about today was what we sort of hope for in this country. And I always think about James Brolin, who is married to Barbara Streisand. And I think of her as an environmentalist, but I don't think of her as, insane, but I feel like she's made some, I don't know, do you guys got any articles or anything on her?
Barbara Streisand, to me, she seems more of an activist than really an entertainer. At least for my generation, it feels like.
I know she owns a ton of land in the canyons above Malibu that they won't, she won't develop or do anything. She just owns it. Yeah. And it sits there.
So I think of her as an entertainer, activist, environmentalist. But is there anything, Dawson? I told those guys to find something, but I don't know if they found. No. Okay.
Let me ask the younger guys. Ben.
There's just nothing there's no tweets or...
I'm seeing a 2018 song that she wrote to criticize Donald Trump's climate policies.
Oh, she wrote a song.
Yeah, don't lie to me.
All right, well, maybe we'll find that song. But there's got to be tweets and stuff. There's no articles or anything? All right. I don't know how the internet works. I assume there's a bunch of shit on it, but then people can't find that stuff. Yeah. But they don't have... That's it? Just got the song.
She donated $1 million to the William J. Clinton Foundation in support of former President Bill Clinton's climate change initiative.
Oh, well, that's something.
Yeah. We found it using the Streisand effect.
Yeah, so now here's what I'm getting to. The guy she lives with, James Brolin, drives a Ford Raptor.
Drove it here.
Drove it here. I try to explain to people all the time, and proudly told me that he didn't get the 2017 Raptor because that had the turbocharged V6 in it. He wanted the old school Raptor with the V8. So naturally, because he likes wasting more fuel. And I don't know what year they switched from the V8 to the, I'm just saying 16. Anyway. Okay, she lives with this guy. So if we can't get him to get into an electric car, then what chance do any of us have for anything else or influencing anybody? If Barbara Streisand can't influence her husband to get out of a Raptor, then when we're trying to pass things like we got to get away from gas stoves and stuff, like what chance do you have of talking people out of their shit when he won't do it?
You know, Barbara's so annoying when James comes home.
It's the private jet thing, right? Like all of these people who complain, but if the moment you fly in a private jet, you've like created more carbon than any driver does in a year.
Brolin must fire back when she gives him shit for the Raptor about her private jet.
Yeah.
He's telling her that I could burn through 7,000 fuel tanks on this Raptor and still wouldn't get to your last trip to the Bay Area.
Right.
In terms of your carbon footprint. That must be what he comes back with.
Yeah, because if you have a private jet, that wipes out any carbon footprint to anything else, and like I listen, I definitely have vehicles that waste gas. I care about the environment. It's like, well, I'm just paying for it. That's just, it is what it is.
What I was thinking about, and now I'll play what made me think of was based on your stand-up bit. Joe Biden talking about taxes, which I love as well.
We got to finish the job. And we pay for these investments in our future by finally making the wealthiest and biggest corporations begin to pay their fair share. Just begin. Look, I'm a capitalist, but pay your fair share.
All right. He lectures us about paying taxes. His son was forming shell corporations and under the names of grandkids for money he got from Ukraine and China. His son took money and instead of paying taxes on it, gave it to a partner and then said, give it to me as a gift so I don't have to pay taxes. That's all his son did was try to get out of paying taxes. I'm just saying, what chance do we have at James Brolin or Hunter Biden? Like what? Their own son, their husband ain't doing it. What are your chances we're doing it?
You could go to any of these super rich and look at the hypocrisy, right? That's why they need to redo the tax code because there's too many holes in it. And yeah, they're all hypocrites after a certain point because it becomes cheaper to cheat on your taxes than to pay the taxes.
Yeah.
Right? It's cheaper to pay, like you said, you get your accountants, your lawyers, whatever, form shell corporations, send money overseas, do whatever. That's cheaper than paying the taxes. That's why they all do it.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But you're right. No, it's total hypocrisy. It's total hypocrisy.
Telling people to do the right thing.
You got to do it first.
Yes. Or you have to figure out a way to persuade them to do it, but just asking.
Well, that's always funny when people call attention. Like, remember the gay marriage thing? Remember when the gay marriage, anti-gay marriage, and then all of these, like, preachers came out as gay. Like, we found out they were all, creeping around this. And it's like, if you know you're creeping around at night having gay sex, maybe don't mention gay marriage. Maybe pick another issue to call out, right? So like if you know you're not paying taxes, maybe don't talk about taxes. Maybe talk about something else. I don't know if it's ignorance or arrogance when you do that, when you call out the issue that you're violating, or
he was talking last week. I think we were talking about it, how he was explaining about, I think this was affirmative action, but how these legacy students shouldn't be able to get in just because their daddy had money and their dad.
The well-connected.
Everything's like, your son is going all over the country all over the world with a duffel bag and collecting money because of your name.
And connections.
Connections. That's the only reason he's on the board of Ukrainian energy company. He doesn't know anything about energy. James Brolin should have been on that board of Burisma. Hey, that guy knows something about fuel and wasting it. I'm just saying, all right, it's all insane. But yes, with a straight face. We got news. We got George Schlatter, who... George Schlatter's like
legendary
producer, created Laugh-In.
Laugh-In, yeah. I know Laugh-In only because it was a answer on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire for like the final $1 million question.
Really?
Yeah, it was a question, I forget, like which president appeared on Laugh-In, and then the guy used one of his lifelines to call a friend, and he calls his parents.
Oh, Nixon.
Nixon, yeah. And it seems like he's going to ask them the question, but he calls them and he goes, "Hey, Mom, Dad, oh, I know the answer. I just want to let you know I'm going to win $1 million." And then answers the question. It's so badass.
That is that's a Tyson with no socks kind of move right there.
Man, good thing he got it right.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Imagine making that call and you're wrong like that.
Never hear the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mom would be, "Oh, there's my son, the millionaire."
Yeah, that was a pretty common in the zeitgeist thing, Nixon popping up on Laugh-In.
Yeah.
All right, we will take ourselves a break. We'll do some news right after this. Let me tell you about Meter grilling season. Well, that's here. It is upon us. Time to dust off that grill. And I got the perfect tool for you to unlock your overcooked meat problems or undercooked meat problems. Meter, sleek, Bluetooth meat thermometer that guarantees a perfect cook every time. It's what you need this summer to, help with your beef and your cooking skills and all of your grilling needs. There's a countdown so you know how many beers before you can get back to the grill. Meter app will tell you exactly when to take the food off the grill so you don't open it and lose the heat. Yeah, you don't have to pull the lid and let all the good heat out of there. This stuff is, Meter's great. I use it. It's a great gift. It's great for you. It's great for grilling season. Use in a grill, oven, pan, air fryer, rotisserie. You can use it all. And you can use your Meter. Right, Dawson?
Barbecue season is here, so get grilling with the best meat thermometer out there on meter.com. That's MEATER.com.
Well, let me tell you about Simply Safe. When break-ins happen, every second counts. Latest innovation from Simply Safe is 24/7 live guard protection. Only possible with Simply Safe's new Smart Alarm wireless indoor camera. With a fast Protect monitoring plan, Simply Safe agents can see and deter intruders through the camera, warning them that they're being recorded and that police are on the way. Plus, advanced motion detection and vision AI can sense the difference between potential intruders and pets. These guys are a great company. Their product keeps evolving. They've been with us for 1 million years, and they just keep growing and getting better and innovating. And right now, my listeners get 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Huge offer, limited time. Visit Simply Safe, 2 I's in there, simplysafe.com/Adam. That is simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Well, back with Alonzo Bodden. 4th of July thoughts before we get into the news. What'd you do, Alonzo?
As little as I could. It was a lazy-ass day. I had to drop off something at a friend's house, and then me and the dog just hung out. I'm lucky because my dog isn't affected by fireworks. He's not one of those dogs that goes nuts. So I think we watched we watched the Mets. They won. Very rare occurrence. We enjoyed that. And, yeah, that was it. Lazy day.
I got off to a weird So I had all these, my son and like 5 or 6 of his buddies all stayed with me in Malibu in a condo. And then I had all this food, all this ribs and burgers and cut up fruit and tons of food. And we're going to take it to the beach club where they have a barbecue, multiple barbecues. And I was going to barbecue the dogs and the burgers and everything. Right. And so there is a thing with my daughter. I don't ask her to do shit because it's going to be, it's basically getting her to do stuff would be like trying to put a raccoon in a garbage disposal. It's going to be a fight.
Putting anything in a garbage disposal is going to be a fight.
Yeah, but it's a fight. It's going to be a fight. And I'm sort of sexist in that I don't like girls like moving stuff. I don't like saying to women like, go down to the car, get the suitcase, and bring the suitcase back up the stairs and put it up in the. Even if the suitcase light, I don't like. But I will tell a dude to do that all day long, and that's all I ever. When I was in high school, I was a fucking llama I was a pack mule. I was just constantly moving boxes. I had a job at a liquor store. I'd pull up the hand truck with 10 cases of Diet Coke, and they go, put them all up in the thing, and all I did is move shit. And so I got all this stuff. It's in the condo, and there's stairs, like there's a few sets of stairs, and then the car's downstairs, and then I'm like, the boys are like, we're going to the pier, we'll be back at 2. And I'm sitting around, and 2 is come and gone, and I'm like, I'm going to get all these fucking kids to each get their stuff and walk it all the way. Like, finally,
you have a convoy.
Some dudes I can boss around, and it's not going to be an argument. I got a crew coming in. And now it's like 2:30, and now it's 3 o'clock, and I do the, fuck it, I'll just start moving some of the stuff like down to the car myself. And then at some point, when I'm done schlepping all the stuff to the car, they come pulling up. So now I go, okay. And now it's getting a little late. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I'm not in the mood now because they're 2 hours late, and I had to schlep everything. So then I do this move. I go, look, the beach club is 3 blocks away, maybe 4 blocks away. It's a 4 or 5 minute walk. I got the car. It's all loaded with all the fixins, 10 different boxes of food and tongs and pepper and mayonnaise. I go, Sonny, you get in the car. We'll go the long way to the beach club. We'll go backside on this mountain, come all the way up around, then we'll hit PCH and we'll pull around. You guys leave now, start walking the other way, the shorter way to the beach club, and then as I'm pulling up, you guys are going to be pulling up. There's not going to be parking on PCH. I'll put the hazards on. You guys grab everything that's in this car, throw it down, bring it into the beach club. I'm going to go home and park the car, then I'll walk over and start cooking burgers.
It's a good plan.
That's the plan. Start walking now. We're going up the hill. Take a leisurely up the hill. It's about I've walked to the beach club every day I'm there. It's about a 4-minute walk. Go up come back around, stop in front of the beach club. There's nobody. There's nobody. Nobody's anywhere. And I'm like, unfortunately, I'm yelling at my son, what the fuck is the plan? And he's like, I don't know. You told him to come. I told him to come too. Like, well, where are they? And all he can say is, I don't know. They're nowhere. And I started thinking, like, most of my life is me going, here's what we're going to do. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Like, and it never happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the people.
So what, did they ever show up, or you're still waiting for them?
Then I got, it's basically.
There's a car full of meat on PCH.
I said,
hazards
we're being attacked by seagulls on PCH. Then I do the move with my son where I'm a little persnippety now because these are his friends that have hung us out to drive. No,
you're not a spokesperson for
I
them.
can see all the way down PCH and there's nobody. I'm like, where are they? I just told them, leave now. You got to walk about 80 feet and then you turn on. I don't see anyone in the distance. I go, listen. I ask him for a third time, where are they? He points out that that's the third time. I asked him, and he has no answer. We take all the food out and all the fixings out and just plop it on the sidewalk. because I got to go. I'm parked. I'm double parked here on PCH. So we just take it all out. I'm like, stand here and guard this food. And at some point, when those a-holes come around the corner, then you tell them to truck it into the whatever. I have no idea.
How far behind were they? I mean, you didn't see them
I was
on the
like,
way back?
if they're hanging out when I get back, there's going to be a problem.
No food for you.
They had left right as I was, anyway. That was mine. But Cook made the burgers, made the dogs. No fireworks anymore. There's no Malibu, Santa Monica.
Oh, they don't have the. Didn't they? They had the barge. They used to have the barge. I remember when the barge blew up. Like, remember when they all blew up at once?
Yeah, you used to tow the barge out.
Yeah. They don't do that anymore.
Long Beach had a ton.
No,
it sounded like a war zone.
I know. Some kid was killed by the falling bullet in the head. I heard 6-year-old or in critical condition or whatever. It's at the fire the guns into the air.
Yeah, which is always, it's amazing more people don't get hit with those falling bullets.
Yes.
Considering the number of people that just think it's a good idea to shoot up.
Yeah.
Yes. There should be a 4th of July helmet in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Not Malibu.
New Year's Eve also.
New Year's Eve and a 4th of July helmet. Just you could do something from World War II, like a General Patton style. If you're a fan of the Germans. You could go another direction.
In Woodland Hills, there's a park, Warner Center Park, where they do fireworks and a concert, which is okay, except that they close all the streets around it. Like they close Topanga and Victory, and so it becomes a real hassle, especially because you forget until you're on it, and then you're like, oh, that's right, this closed. Now I'm trapped. In traffic, which again is when it's good to have a motorcycle and just be like, traffic laws? What traffic laws? I'm going that way.
Motorcycle. I rode one for years in this town and just did everything. Stupid all the time.
The next group that even we motorcycle guys think are crazy? The electric bicycle people.
Yeah.
They're
silent.
I'm looking at them like, oh, you're going to get killed.
Thing. The drunken scooter people.
Yeah.
They're riding on the sidewalk and shit.
Too fast.
You're too drunk.
Noise,
it's too fast, and you can't handle it.
Right.
Do you guys think? Because this was an online debate yesterday. Are fireworks overrated? Because they haven't improved in the last 100 years.
100 years, 2,000
years. Yeah, it's the same thing. And I think people are getting over it. Actually, some people are saying, yeah, we want more drone shows. They're quiet. They're impressive. I've been to a drone show. It's crazy.
People who like fireworks will always like them. You know what I mean? It's like gardening, right? Like flowers. Like, to me, they're flowers.
Yeah.
But people who love flowers, they're like, oh, this is amazing and this is that. And I think fireworks are the same way. There are certain people who love fireworks and they will always love a fireworks show.
Except Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah. He blew 2 fingers off.
Well, that's, it's only a football career, right?
I'll never fire a Roman candle ever. That's so freaky.
Oh, Roman candle?
Yeah.
Roman candles.
Anything it's handheld.
It wasn't designed to be handheld.
Yeah, Roman candle you're supposed to set down.
You're supposed to set it on the ground.
I thought you're supposed to hold them and shoot them at your friends.
So did he. He thought so too.
Is that what blew up on him?
I don't know. I just figured because you're literally holding the thing as it's going.
No, that is not what you're supposed to do with the problem with fireworks, I say this all the time, is you quickly get very bored with the intended use. And then that at certain point involves you picking it up and aiming it at somebody or blowing up a mailbox or lighting something off indoors or something. It quickly devolves into we need more fun.
We need to up the ante.
I think the people who lose the fingers are the ones who say, I'm going to hold it while the fuse is lit, and then I'm going to throw it. And then that fuse just,
Well, the fuse, I can't remember where I was talking about this, but it's like, it's Mexico's attempt to kill the gringo, because a fuse is totally ungageable.
Right.
I've lit 200,000 fuses in my life. Flowers are always good, the spinning ones. I mean, we'd go to Tijuana. We'd load up on, go to Tijuana. You go like, this a quarter stick of dynamite. That's a half stick of dynamite. They ain't no black cats.
I remember that. I remember
it's
when you
big
did
pink
quarter
things
sticks
with like
of dynamite.
clay stuffed
and
in the
people
side.
throw it in the lake and kill all the fish.
Yeah, anytime there's clay shoved in the ends and the thing's the size of a toilet paper roll, that thing's blowing. But the point is every fuse I've ever lit, first off, before I lit it, I had no idea what it was going to do. Some fuses you light, boom, they just go right down, pow. Others you light, super slow. Others you light, go slow for half the fuse and then real fast, like the last quarter inch or
those
inch.
Those are the ones that get the
Those
fingers.
ones that fuck you up. There needs to be a regulation fuse. Like if somebody said, I got a 12-second fuse here, it's a yellow 12-second fuse, and you'd know where you were. They're totally ungageable.
But here's the
fuses.
thing. Here's the thing. You got 10 fingers, right?
Right.
Which means you were smarter than every one of those fuses you lit.
Yeah, there's an element. There's an element of luck.
You didn't.
Yeah, I think it's luck.
I don't know. You didn't hold a quarter stick of dynamite light it and wait to see what happens.
We used to go on Baja surf motorcycle trips, like when I work construction. Like construction dudes, they already drive pickup trucks. Most of them have dirt bikes. Most of them have like jet skis, and most of them have some of them have like surfboards and stuff like that. And they're not scared of anything, and they have like fucking guns and knives and shit. Right. And it was always like, but they don't have any money for a vacation, so we're not going to Sandals. But we would go to Baja, and we would just meet at the Topanga Canyon Denny's. At I
know right where you're talking about.
Right where it is. We're going to meet there at 6 a.m. on like Saturday morning. And we would have breakfast, and then 5 guys with 5 different pickup trucks and some other dudes and stuff, camping equipment, motorcycles, surfboards. We just start driving toward Tijuana. We go across the border. Once you drive through Ensenada and Rosarita and stuff, at some point the roads just turn to dirt.
Yeah.
And you're just riding along the Pacific Ocean. It's beautiful. And you just keep driving until you go, that's a good spot. You just stop there, get the sleeping bags, bivouac, get the booze. But when we're driving there in those dirt roads, I'm sitting in the back of the pickup truck. I'm lighting M80s with a cigar, and I'm throwing them at the guys behind me in the pickup truck with a beer between my legs. By the way, I would tell everyone, look, lawless is a double-edged sword. Like, we could get robbed at the beach because it's a lawless environment, but we can also fucking throw M80s out of a moving pickup truck with a Corona between our legs.
Well, you're rolling the dice.
Right.
Right? You're rolling the dice.
Well, we rolled the dice because we didn't have anything to lose. It was not... You don't have a family to provide for, or a plan, or money, or not belongings, a mortgage. There was nothing. So it was
kind of hard to do construction with no fingers, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
That guy gets laid off Monday and he shows up.
But it's not also just losing digits. Remember last year, so Simply Safe was trending, our very own Simply Safe. And the reason is because now everyone has these home cameras. There are a lot of videos about fireworks going wrong because they're just filming the street. So this video went viral last year, and they're just family lighting some fireworks on the street.
This is great.
It went viral this year too. So just middle of the street, they lit it. Definitely got a fuse. Goes getting the kids out of there.
So what caught on fire? Whoa! Whoa! So. One goes south and then hits the box?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fucking awesome.
And here's, the worst part about that? The minute you go to your insurance company for that car, they just show you the video.
Right.
Yeah. Really? Is that what happened? Yeah. Really? Because we got this video.
Yeah. Don't even have to look at the black box. We know what happened.
Oh, my God. All right. Let's do some news. That is amazing.
Yeah. All right. So... There's a story about this restaurant in Colorado called Casa Bonita.
Yeah.
So Casa Bonita, it was featured in an episode of South Park. Or the boys go for like one of the guys' birthdays. It's just a heavily themed restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant, but inside it's kind of like rainforest cafe where there's all these trees. There's a cliff diver that goes off every hour into like this body of water. It's very look at it. It looks like it's like a Pirate's Cove in there. So it's
themey.
It's themey. It's just Mexican food.
Looks Vegas.
Yes, exactly. So the restaurant goes bankrupt. So Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they end up buying it. And according to reports, it went under a $40 million renovation.
That's a lot of renovation.
Yeah.
But again, it's not a Mexican restaurant. It's a theme park, practically.
It's a theme park with Mexican food, yeah. I've actually been here. And
you have?
Yeah. I went because of the South Park episode when we were on a road trip. We thought, we got to go to Casa Bonita and eat there. Yeah. So, the food was all right. But it was fun, So, it's like a 50-year-old establishment. But so the reason it's in the news is because in January when during the reopening, it was reported that the new version of Casa Bonita would offer salaries for its wait staff, which they would receive in addition to tips. That was like $15 an hour. But then days before the opening, the restaurant asked their employees to sign new contracts that offered hourly wages for servers and bartenders at $30 an hour, no tips. And the employees were given 1 day to decide whether they wanted to sign the new contract or quit. And so it's like a new thing. They want to go, okay, let's eliminate tipping and just pay our servers and bartenders better wages and see how that goes. Because there's tipping fatigue now. Everyone's getting tired of tipping. Everyone's getting tired of turning that iPad around just when you're trying to buy a smoothie and having to tip everybody. It's an outdated thing. So this is them trying to evolve. And it's led by Matt Stone and Trey Parker, who just want to pay them a fair salary. But even like some of the servers don't want to do it. They want the tips.
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it depends on what it is. Like in a restaurant, you could tip. But like you said, when you go everywhere, like every coffee shop or smoothie or everything where you put that iPad, that's the guilt thing, right? It guilts you into tipping. Those jobs, I think, all right, listen, just charge more and pay the people. You know what I mean? Don't expect everybody. Like when you have to tip on something that costs $4, it's like, hey, here's an idea. Just charge me $5 and leave me alone. That. But when you go to a restaurant and you sit down, then tipping makes sense because that's service and that's traditional tipping.
Yeah, it's also very random in that, as I always say, you could go to Home Depot and get some old timer to get that A-frame ladder with the wheels on it and roll it down aisle 14 and then climb up there and get you 40 feet of anchor chain, like measuring it out 3 foot at a time, boom, boom. Then like cutting it and wrapping it and taping it and then like writing the little thing on it. There was like 40 foot of number 10 anchor chain. That guy doesn't get shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't get anything. So it's totally random to me in terms of like I'll give you a fucked in the tip ass story. All right, God damn it, I'm mad now. Okay, so the first part of my life was,
and this is remarkable to see you mad and rant about something. I've
I
never
know.
encountered this before.
Yes, you'll know. Mark the calendar, Alonzo. No, here's the thing I try to explain to people of my life. The first part of my life, from about 0, maybe let's give it a day old. Maybe a day old, because as soon as I was born into my family, I was already at a deficit, right? I was already had one fucking foot in a hole. But just here's my mom and my dad. Here's who they are. Here's what they do. Here's how much money they make. Here's how. Just the fact, I got a mom that hates cooking. Boom. Already fucked up. You have a mom that hates cooking and doesn't cook and won't fucking overcompensate by going, well, fine, I don't cook, but here's $20. Go to McDonald's and no money and hates cooking.
She's not a food source anymore.
You're already fucked. Like I wish you'd be better off being born with spina bifida than a mom that never went in the kitchen and fucking hated food. All right, so that's strike one. But all right. Then everyone is poor. No one gives a shit about their kids. Whatever. So you can kind of go like, well, how was your childhood? My childhood was cursed until about 30. I got every job I got was a shit job. I had the meanest construction foreman I've ever met. First, right out of the gate. Like, if I get a mean program director or something, now I'm like, fuck that guy. I make 10 times as much as he does, or he's not going to tell me what to do or whatever. But I'm making $7 an hour. This guy's a Vietnam vet, strung out on pain meds, and he's fucking trying to verbally and even physically like abuse us. He's screaming at us. He's going to get one of us to quit. You know, it was horrible. I had I worked for a liquor store. I worked for the Flask liquor store on Ventura Boulevard. I knew guys that worked for Valley Market and other little liquor stores and stuff, and they delivered booze. And when you bought and brought a bottle of Cutty Sark to whoever the actor is who played Herb on WKRP in Cincinnati, I remember that was one of the guys. You'd give that guy a bottle of Cutty Sark, he'd give you $10 because you're bringing it to his home. It's the afternoon. He wants to drink. He doesn't want to drive and drunk. And you're face to face. Like, he's got to hand you a tip. And so anyone who worked for a liquor store delivery, they're dropping off a bottle of champagne, a bottle of wine, 2 bottles of scotch or whatever. You walk up, you got fucking cash tip right there. I worked for a liquor store where all I did was deliver booze, but it was cases of stuff, right? So I'd pull up to a house in like Beverly Hills because they were doing the wedding. But the owner of the house wouldn't be there. The Mexican maid would be there. Or the wedding planner or something. And then I'd show up with a hand truck and it'd be 10 cases of Dom Perignon. I would be dropping off $4,000 worth of booze. Put some in the pool house, put 2 cases in the pool house in the back by the tennis court, take another 2 cases, put them upstairs. I'm schlepping this shit all over. When I'm done, they just fucking sign the voucher and I leave.
Yeah.
There was no.
Tip
you hand someone a bottle of $14 booze, you get a $5 tip. You drop off $10,000 in cases at someone's house. Nothing.
Right.
Then the other accounts we had were like Viacom on the lot. I'd go to Viacom. I'd try 40 cases of Diet Coke and 40 cases. I'd be trucking with the hand truck up the stairs, whatever. Fucking receptionist would just sign, and I'd leave. Nobody reached. So I'm dropping off thousands of bottles and thousands of dollars worth of booze. Never got a tip. Never. Not once.
It's
Fuck
luck
that.
based over.
I was going to say that's just bad luck.
Yeah.
That's just with jobs. There are good jobs and then there's shitty
like
jobs.
moms who cook.
You had a shitty job.
Well, it didn't seem like a shitty job. It's like, you're going to work delivering booze for the Flask liquor store. It's like, okay, Tip City, here we come. No, none.
Yeah, logically that doesn't make sense because we're based off the amount of bottles or just the weight alone, right?
What about? Okay, let me ask you this: what about guys like moving guys or something? Like you buy a sofa.
Yeah.
Do you tip the guys who deliver it?
Usually, but also.
But then if
you're
not home,
there, you're
right,
not there. Like,
you know, so that's then the guy who delivers the pizza that you eat while you're sitting on the sofa, he's getting a tip every time, right?
Right.
So it's just one of those things. It's just
it's too inconsistent.
It's right.
This is
bringing a pizza to someone's house versus a sectional sofa. Right. It's a much lighter, easier gig. But there's no tip for that guy.
You were delivering the volume. Here's the one that bugs me. So you order something online, right, to pick up, and it asks you to tip, and you're like, well, who am I tipping? Mm-hmm. Couldn't I just tip myself?
Right.
Since I'm driving there and I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab the food or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you still see that's what's screwed up tipping. Getting back to your original point, it's this obligation now since everything is digital money, right? It's they just put that tip thing in there. Yeah. I had one at Starbucks where it was mysterious how my app didn't work unless you added a tip. Like if there was no tip.
Oh, you couldn't submit the payment without.
Well, no, I don't know if she was doing it or what, but this is the thing that was funny, right? So it was, say it was like $4.25 or for whatever it was, the drink, right? So she wouldn't take that, and I just throw $1 in, right? So if I throw $1 in the cup or the can or whatever, I'm actually tipping you more than if I hit 20% on a $4 drink, because that's only 80 cents. So it's like, lady, you're actually screwing yourself. And plus, who knows if they get that 80 cents or it goes to the corporation or wherever it goes. Sure. But it was one of those things. And it was so obvious. It was like, doesn't work. Oh, let me hit this. Hey, it works. So it was obvious that it was programmed to, accept the tip.
All the people who get tipped possess no skills either. Like guys who can TIG weld stainless steel never get tips.
No tip.
You know what I mean? Like
but they get paid more. But you get paid more to
not
TIG
than
weld.
the chicks who do bottle service at the nightclub.
Right.
That's where we're at. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, luck.
I know.
But if you're a hot chick who does bottle service at a nightclub, that pays well.
I know.
I mean, you know who can't stand her? The receptionist at the front desk.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody's tipping her.
Yeah.
She's checking you into your room. Once, 1 out of 100 people might toss her a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
She wants to carry a tray with Grey Goose and some
the woman carrying the
sparklers.
tray is just pocketing cash.
I feel the same
every
way.
time,
I've always thought about it. Like, would you want your daughter working at a strip club, or would you want your daughter be the one with the Windex and the rag who comes up and wipes the glass down and the pole down because it's got her ass print on it?
I saw the most. You talk about a brilliant entrepreneur. There's a strip club, and right next to it was a daycare center.
Smart.
And now there's a moneymaker, right? Yeah, just drop the kid off. Go do your shift. We'll be here when you get
Yeah, I'm sure there's a deal.
Yeah, Jimmy said to me once, and it always stuck with me. He goes, "You notice all these pot dispensaries open up?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "You notice there's all these cupcake stores opening up at the same time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's the number one food for stoners, like a giant cupcake." Yeah. All right. Sorry, what else
Horrible
we got?
Sweet. All right. So the Supreme Court last week, also we talked about them talking about affirmative action and the whole Harvard thing. Well, now they also ruled in favor of a Christian web designer from Colorado who refuses to work on same-sex weddings for building websites.
Yeah, right. Like the Masterpiece Cake Baker guy.
Masterpiece Cake Baker.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Because they're saying that that's creative or intellectual property or some version of that. It's not like a goods, like saying you couldn't own a feed store and go, I don't sell sacks of feed to lesbians.
Right.
But I think you could say to me, I want you to do a corporate gig for the Lesbians of America. I want you to do 10 minutes or 20 minutes of stand up for our thing. And then I could go, I don't do that.
Because you're a creative professional.
Right.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't like any form of discrimination, but I also don't like the sort of heavy hand of government, which is I also believe in a marketplace. Like, I just believe that if you're going to discriminate against anybody, somebody's going to come in and sort of fill that gap. It'll just be more business for the place across the street or whatever it is.
My problem with it, and I get what you say about the corporate, right? But here's the thing about the corporate gig. You could just say, no, I'm not going to do the Lesbian Alliance corporate show. But the minute you say, oh, because of my religion, I'm not doing it, that's the problem. That's my problem. The minute you say because of my religion, because now, once it's legal to say because of my religion, then you can discriminate against anybody because no one can question your religion. So
but you won't benefit.
Right.
As a company.
But this is what this company's doing. They're saying it's based on their religious beliefs.
Yes.
If you do it individually, if I just don't like you, or if they're like, Alonzo, listen, we got this corporate, it's a Klan rally, you only got to do 8 minutes, I'm going to be like.
Tipping?
No, even with the tip, I'm going to pass. Even with the tip. I'll give them your name. I'll say, hey, I got a buddy.
What about?
But no.
You get a per diem? Yeah.
But the minute you put in because of my religion, that's the problem. And I think that's where the government their job is to step in and say, no, you can't use your religion to discriminate against people here in the United States. Like, that's one of the founding principles of our country, right? That you can't say my religion says this or my religion says that. And, religion's been used to justify wars, slavery, all kind of the most horrible things in history. And the idea was to get away from that, right? So you can say, no, look, I don't want to do your website. That's fine. Don't do the website. And like you say, the free market, someone else will do your website. But the minute you say because of my religion, I think that's when you get up. That's the problem.
I wonder if they would let you. I mean, I wonder if the gay couple that wanted the gay wedding cake from the Masterpiece Cake Baker, or this couple that wanted the lesbian wedding website, I wonder if you said, no, I'm booked up, if they would buy it, or if they would assume you were doing it because you didn't want to deal with them. They can't prove it.
Well, yeah, you can in a way because you can just make a fake account and just go, hey, I want a wedding for this day too. Make our website. And if she does it,
that's
like the commercial, Dawson, you got to get the commercial. The guy's looking for the apartment.
Right. Just like that.
Is that what you
know
could
who
do?
they caught? The home appraisers. Mm-hmm. There was a huge case up in Sacramento where they appraised this home, and then it was a black family's home. Then they took out all their pictures. They took out every indication that they lived there and had their white friends put it up as their home, and it was appraised for $400,000 more.
Really?
And they sued the hell out of them.
Wait, that's
the
black
power of information.
That's a Black Information Network. I don't know if you're supporting them, but I listen to those guys in my car. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. I do not.
Play Alonzo. It's all I listen to in my car. Do we have it? Yeah, well, Chris has it. Or Dawson has it?
Yeah, I could load it up,
give an
but I
example.
just
He has it
grabbed
ready.
you
I just had the sting. I just had to.
You just had the
Alonzo-
sting. Oh, okay.
Alonzo said that.
I do got that commercial.
Oh, let's play it. It always makes me laugh.
Hello. Yes. Can I ask a few questions about the apartment on Park Street?
What was your name?
My name is Juan Hernandez.
It's been rented.
Oh, he's gone.
This is a white guy, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he does all the voices.
PSA.
Something you couldn't do today.
Hello, my name is Sanjay Kumar. I am calling about the apartment on Park Street.
It's not available.
Not available?
Hello, my name is Tyrone Washington. I'm calling about the apartment on Park Street.
Just been rented.
Hello, I am Chen Ling. My name is Khalid bin Ali. I'm Tuan Vo.
Hello, my name is Moshe
Can I ask a few
Goldberg.
questions? I use a wheelchair. It's gone. Not available. All right. Thank you.
Yes, hello, my name is Graham Wellington. I'm calling about the apartment for rent on Park Street. Is that still available?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Really? Housing discrimination.
That's white privilege.
Yeah.
Graham Wellington, by the way.
What's funny is I've used that name to get car loans. Just Graham Wellington.
Graham Wellington?
Saved me 2 points of interest.
All right, George Schlatter is here. 93 years young, still laughing. A Life in Comedy is the name of his book. Man, I mean, he's just worked with everyone in comedy. Rode motorcycles with Steve McQueen. Well, that's something for us to talk about. All right, so we should take a break. Is Alonzo hanging out with George? All right,
hang out.
We'll hang out, and we'll bring in legendary. Oh God, I don't know what the producer, creator of all things comedy, now author George Schlatter. Right after this. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are in the business of keeping your car on the road. They offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for your maintenance and repairs. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free in or out of the car. If it needs to be replaced, they'll help you find the right battery for your vehicle. If your check engine light is on, O'Reilly Auto Parts will scan it and retrieve your trouble codes for free. If needed, they'll even refer you to a repair shop. When you're a do-it-yourselfer and need a specialty tool to finish the job, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and ask about their loaner tool program. Simply pay a refundable deposit and borrow the right tool. Then get your deposit back when it's returned. Ready for some new wiper blades? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will help you pick out just what you need for your car and will even install them for you for free. O'Reilly Auto Parts has thousands of quality parts and accessories in stock that you might need to keep your vehicle running at its best. Place your order online at O'Reilly Auto Parts and then pick it up at your local store. You can even have your order shipped directly to your doorstep, giving you the freedom of shopping on your schedule. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com. Let me tell you about Turo Innovative. It's the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, wherever you want, from a community of local hosts. Browse a huge selection of vehicles for just about any occasion or budget. Book an SUV or a minivan for a family road trip, a pickup truck for some errands, or even test drive an EV. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Find your drive. Forget your boring rental cars at Turo, Turo.com. George Schlatter in studios, got a book out, Still Laughing, A Life in Comedy. Creator of Laugh In, which was it was more than a popular show. It was sort of a cultural phenomenon.
It's an adventure.
But it was I don't know how you captured whatever the zeitgeist of the nation. Maybe it had to have something to do with coming off of Vietnam and Nixon or Watergate or something, but it just...
All of that, and it had to do with my short attention span. And it was nothing going on. And actually, it was an accident. NBC had nothing to put on Monday night at 8 o'clock. They had Lucy and Gunsmoke, and they were getting a 0 rating. So they came to me and I said,
they were rerunning those shows.
They were running, and they were big hits.
Back in the day, but they were in syndication then.
No, they were on the air, network, new Lucy
the new
and
Lucy show.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
And so, and NBC was getting no rating at all. So I walked in and I said, I can give you something. And they said, okay. And so we came in with this bunch of collection of new, young character people and outrageous writers, and came in talking about things you couldn't talk about, presenting people who had no network exposure. And it came on the air. They weren't going to air it, but they had nothing else to put on. So by the third week, though, the audience caught on to this kind of eccentric, electric, fast-paced barrage of jokes. And before you knew it, was getting a huge rating. And then by then, I mean, I'm arrogant now, but you can imagine me with a 50 share, forget about it.
I mean, it was that popular.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knew it.
Well, they wanted something. Nothing was happening. It was a little bit like now. Nothing funny was happening, and they needed something, and it just exploded with that group of people.
We have the $1 million Laugh-In winning video that you have not seen.
No.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Yeah. Epic.
I would love to have gotten part of that. What did he get?
Father. I'll talk to my father.
So this is him calling, using his lifeline to answer the question.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
I don't really need your help. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to win the $1 million.
Okay.
Because the U.S. president appeared on Laugh-In as Richard Nixon. That's my final answer.
Well, my gosh. What can I say except, Debbie, you're going to Paris, and this is the final answer heard all around the world. He's won $1 million.
The first one to win $1 million.
Wow.
Chills.
Now, when was Nixon on? Was this pre or post Watergate?
It was the beginning of our second year. And Paul Keyes was Richard Nixon's closest friend, and he was one of the writers. And we needed something explosive to open the show with, and he said, I can get you Nixon. And I said, well, get him for me, too. So anyhow, we went over to the studio, and we got him to say, sock it to me. He said, sock it to me. No, Mr. Nixon, smile. Say, sock it to me. Yes, comedy's new for me, you know, so sock it to me. And so we got him to say, sock it to me.
There were catchphrases like sock it to me, and, you know, back when we had Flip Wilson saying, here come the judge, I think, and like there were all these catchphrases.
Flip Wilson's first network appearance was on Laugh-In.
That was.
Yes.
And like Joanne Worley.
Yes.
And like a bunch of legends who were kind of getting started, right?
You guys? Goldie. None of those people.
Goldie Hawn.
Because none of those people fit a network category. And they were all kind of accident. They were young character people doing character things, saying things that nobody really understood because it went so fast that by the time you missed this joke, you were on to the next one.
Paul
Did
Lynn,
you know
was
it
he
was
on
part
there?
of the culture? Like
Yes.
when you do a show like that, and back then everyone watched that show. Like,
Right.
Did you know you had that kind of power? Like, this is going to be part of the American culture.
No, it was just part of my adventure. And the first show, they weren't even going to air it, but they had nothing else to put on. And so they put it on kind of by mistake, looking for the replacement. And by the time it aired 3 weeks in a row, the audience looked and said, wait a minute, something's happening here that's different and that's funny, and great-looking people, and currently popular subject matter done in an unpopular way. And it was an adventure, and we got by with it.
So you have worked with everyone. I'm looking here. We're talking about Steve McQueen, riding motorcycles with him. And
Yes. That was an adventure. You think I'm not into comedy now? You should have seen me try to follow McQueen on a motorcycle.
What was that
I'll show
story?
you sight gags, huh?
What was that story?
It was my wife and his wife were very friendly, and I went down and I saw him, and I had a Yamaha, and eventually I wound up on his Husqvarna, and he would ride in the desert. There was nothing out in Palm Spring Desert at that point, so I went out there riding with him, and he was an adventure. God, what a piece of work Steve was. So we rode motorcycles in the desert, and I survived that. I could sure survive the network censors.
Did and Judy Garland, you work with Jonathan Winters,
Another
Danny Thomas.
president, Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
Oh yes,
He was funny. I did a nightclub act with Ronald Reagan. I produced a nightclub act for Ronald Reagan in Vegas. You think I'm into comedy now? Whew, boy.
What was it? What was the act?
Well, it was an act. Lou Wasserman was head of MCA, and he said to me, book Ronald Reagan into the Frontier, because I worked in Vegas at that point, too. So I said, Lou, he doesn't do anything, Mr. Wasserman. He says, it's not my problem. So anyhow, we booked an act and put Ronald Reagan in the lead place in the act, and they did like a singing, dancing, and it was terrible. But I remember that he'd done a movie with Bedtime for Bonzo where he worked with a chimp. So I went out and I found the Marquand family. There were 5 chimps. So I put him in as the lead actor in a 5-chimp act. And he never really forgave me, but it was a big hit, And
5 chimps.
How long did he do it?
He did. We did. He played the normal 2 weeks, and I survived it. And it wasn't bad because anybody with 5 chimps doesn't have to do much to be funny, And and I didn't know how funny he was till he got elected.
Bedtime for Bonzo became a punchline
Yes.
when Reagan got elected. Anyone who wanted to take a shot at him would just bring up Bedtime for Bonzo.
Or bring up Sakatumi. He said that, too.
Oh, he did the Sakatumi
Yes,
too.
and we said, not a bad idea.
Before he was president, we have
Yes.
we have Nixon on Laughing.
Oh, boy, was that a piece of work or what? I miss Nixon. I mean, he was funny.
Yeah, hit some chops.
NBC, beautiful downtown Burbank. Oh, hello, Governor Rockefeller. Oh, no. I don't think we could get Mr. Nixon to stand still for a socket to me.
Socket to me?
Yeah, that's great.
And nobody could believe that we got him to do that.
Did he screw it up intentionally?
No.
Or that's just his version
you
of
mean
it?
like the government? No. He just said it. He didn't mean to say it, but it got him acceptable. He was the first president to ever do anything like a variety show. And he said that helped him get elected. And
Was Paul Lynn in that group?
No, Paul Lynn was wonderful. I mean, not in that group, no. Alan Seuss was in that group. They were of the same gender.
Same gender? They both like the fellas?
I mean, neither one of those guys were Vikings,
But they like the Vikings.
Oh,
Yeah, they like the Viking movies.
We had a lot of fun with Alan Seuss. Was a trip. Anyhow, they all were. We wound up getting this collection of young character people who didn't have a place in television. And then we have a woman by the name of Carolyn Raskin who developed many of the editing techniques we now use, where you could splice something and you do like 3 seconds, 5 seconds. And it went so fast that it was on the air before the network decided that it was unacceptable.
All right, the cuts.
That's it. The cuts were so fast that it just went by like a blur.
So how go ahead, Alonzo.
No, I was going to ask, what about the girls dancing between sketches? You guys, I remember that. You guys had that.
Of course you remember that.
Pretty girls dancing. Yeah. Whose idea was that? That was a great idea.
The transition.
That was a great idea.
Well, that was also visual, and it was Judy Carn. And then, of course, Goldie was just a major, major godsend to find Goldie Hawn. And she was a dancer. And she said to me, I wanted her to do the show. She said, why, I'm not a comedian. I said, you're just fine. We gave her an introduction to do. It was the most screwed up thing you ever heard in your life. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll do it again. I said, no, I don't think so, Goldie. And from then on, we did anything we could to distract her attention. And it was just a delight. I think everybody should have a Goldie Hawn in their career. And a Lily Tomlin and the rest of them.
Did she pull the mic a little bit to your right, George?
Okay,
so you're
I can't.
Talking into the end of it.
Anything can go to my right.
Sorry.
It's my left,
to your
you have a
left.
problem
I mean,
getting to.
I meant to your left. I screwed that one.
Okay, that's all right.
There you go.
There you go.
Was did Lily Tomlin do the phone operator on Laugh-In? Like, I remember all those bits.
Lily came in and did about 10 characters for me, and I fell in love with it. I said, I want you to do the show. She said, which character? I said, I want you to do them all. And she came in and literally did all of these people that just appeared in front of me. And after she did the first show, she's walking down the hall, and she'd done the operator, 1 ringy-dingy, 2 ringy-dingies, and it caught on immediately. And she became a star overnight. But then we did all of her other characters, the Edith Ann sitting in a big wheelchair, a rocking chair, and all of her other characters, Mrs. Earboy, she was a proper lady. And so Lily became a star as 4 or 5 different people. Goldie was just a star. And Artie Johnson, Joanne Worley I hired on the phone. So you couldn't do that today. Today you have to go through a long period of meetings and auditions, and I just hired him. I never even thought about asking for the network's permission. And
Artie Johnson, his catchphrase was very interesting.
Yes,
right? Like everyone had a catch.
He was selling suits and carols, and he came by the office. He came by the house one Easter morning, and he was dressed up as a German, and he was the Easter Nazi. And I fell in love with this little man who did all of these voices and all of these characters. And so the secret of Laugh-In was the fact that Carolla and Raskin developed these editing techniques so we could do many, many things, close together. And one person could do like 10 characters in an act. And that maybe captured the imagination of the audience looking at all of these wonderful, attractive, young, vibrant, irreverent people just coming on in a barrage of, and I was having a good time. That was Mage's secret.
It was also very of the time aesthetically. It looked like it was from 1969. Like
it
all
was.
the visuals, the flowers everywhere. Like it was very right where we were at. We don't really have a theme right now. You turn on TV shows, they're just all different. Some are high schools, some are, cop shows or whatever. But this was like, it is if you were to, make if you were to say, I need something that is indicative of the late 60s, early 70s, it's kind of like, I can only show you one thing so you'll know exactly where we were at as a society, it would be Laugh-In. You'd go, that's exactly where we were, aesthetically, sort of verbally, with everything.
It was so many different things. And what I miss today, I don't see any color. Everything is black. All the people are black, and their conversations are dark, and the set's dark. Laugh-In was a barrage of color, a barrage of sound effects, a barrage of laughs, and a barrage of jokes and one-liners. And even if you didn't understand it, you would understand the next joke, because nobody understood all of Laugh-In, including me.
Right.
But we would come out with this barrage of funny people, attractive people, all having a good time. And we did things like we said, don't go away, we'll be right back. We would dip to black and come, see, we told you we'd be right back. And the network says, wait a minute, you just told the audience to go away. I said, no, I didn't. I told them to go back. Don't you understand? And so it was that kind of outrageous, irreverent, impudent accident. And that's
has anyone tried to remake it? Like they're redoing all this old stuff? Has anyone said, oh, we want to remake Laugh-In?
Yeah, there's always been talk about it. I don't know today, with today's rules and sensitivities, if we could even get by today, because politically we are, as you know, in a kind of a mess. And right now you need it. It would be a welcome relief to what's going on politically, I think.
I was talking to somebody recently, which would be the other side of Laugh-In,
Yes.
like the sort of red version of Laugh-In was
Yes.
Hee Haw.
Yes.
And I was like, could you do Hee Haw? Like, where's Hee Haw? Because there's a lot of brand recognition. I mean, everyone knows, some like it, some hate it, but they know the word Hee Haw.
Yes.
And they do it with stuff like Bugatti. Bugatti was defunct for 65 years, but at some point someone said, people know the name.
But
we
they
should
knew-
we should reconfigure it.
Well, Laugh-In was on the air and was a huge hit. And then ABC wanted to do something, wanted to copy Laugh-In. And if I'd have had the patience and the energy and whatever, I'd have sued him, because it was deliberately an attempt to copy Laugh-In.
Hee Haw was.
Yeah, but it was Laugh-In without a brain. You know?
Yeah, but I never thought about it until this moment that Hee Haw was the country version.
Oh, it was
the sort of
derivative, the whole music
right.
and everything about
everything
it. Everything
was, and that came after six. I was thinking back. I was like, well, Laugh-In was on forever. Hee Haw was on forever. But Hee Haw's after
Hee Haw
Laugh-In.
survived because they didn't present the problem that I presented. I presented a problem to the networks because we were doing topical material. We were attacking topical people, and we're getting away with it because of the brevity and because they were funny jokes. And then we were on this. We do a joke about you, and then the next thing we'll do a joke about him. It was a broad attack on the establishment, presented by colorful people in a colorful set with colorful music, and you never really were aware of intent.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was there.
So you like influenced Saturday Night Live, right? Saturday Night Live had to be a derivative.
Lorne was a writer on Laugh-In.
Yeah.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. He came down from Canada, and he showed up in Dan and Dick's dressing room, and he stayed there. I don't remember Lorne writing a lot of jokes, but he was a brilliant politician, and so he made something out of Saturday Night Live, which kind of...
Dan Rowan and Dick Martin?
Yeah.
I remember I took a little deep dive on Dan Rowan.
How did you do that?
I did it on a computer.
Yes.
And I think I got Dan Rowan right. A crazy story. In World War II, I believe. Let's see if I can remember it. Dick, Rowan and Martin, but I think, who was the more debonair of the two? Is that
Dan was the brightest. Dick was kind of brain dead, and he lived that whole thing. And Dick would ramble. Dan Rowan made a lot of sense.
Dan Rowan was a veteran of World War II.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes,
I believe
he didn't start it, but he was there.
Yeah, but he participated.
Yes.
He, I believe, was an aviator and may have crashed his plane even and like survived in the ocean or ditched it or something like that. At some point, like grew up orphaned, like walked, left Albuquerque to like Arizona or something as a kid and like basically walked to L.A. or hitchhiked to L.A. or something. Ended up living on a barge, like a boat in France on a river.
All
like
of that
at the
is,
end.
all of that is probably true. I never knew him that well.
I got to get that guy's bio. I remember reading about it going, this guy's super fascinating. You also forget these guys all had lives. Like they were in the military and participated in World War II because by the time you get them, they're in their late 30s, early 40s.
Yes.
It's the 60s, but the war's been over for 20 years, and they were 19 when they were
and we started
in the
a
war.
new one. It was an
orphaned
adventure.
at age 11, hitchhiked to California.
True.
At age 11. Well, you can, or Dawson, you can pull it. Anyway, Rowan and Martin's
crazy.
Laugh-In.
But it was the original concept for Laugh-In had no host. It just happened. And the network said they would buy it if we had a host. And Dan and Dick were about to split up, by the way, because it wasn't going real well then.
They were a comedy team.
Yes, and so they came in as the straight, and they wore tuxedos, and they were straight, and the rest of the cast kind of happened around them. And Dan was very literate. Dick was almost brain dead. I mean, he was a womanizer. He was, all those things that he played in the show, true. But I had a good time with them, and they were perfect for this because the comedy kind of happened around them. And as a result of them being so straight, we got by with a lot.
He orphaned at 11, hitchhiked to L.A. I don't know from where, but I remember Arizona or someplace like that. Flew a Curtiss P-40N, which may be a seaplane, like a reconnaissance type plane. We got to look that one. Shot down 2 Japanese aircrafts and was downed. And seriously, he shot down 2 Japanese aircrafts, I guess, and then he got shot down.
He may even shot down our own plane. Dan, you know, Dan was the most literate. Dan was a very literate man and wound up, working with Dick Martin. They did a great nightclub act. And they never met. They'd leave stage and not meet again until they came out the next time. But what would happen is the madness happened around them. Dan kind of was the foot on the floor saying, now, wait a minute, hold it, don't do that, wait a minute. And Dick was out there someplace. And it was an adventure. And we would show up at that point. See, we would tape all night long. We'd tape till 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we'd edit out what didn't work and put in what did. And it was an adventure they would not allow you to have today. Today, there's 10 people telling you what to do. At that point, I didn't talk to them. I didn't meet with them. I just did the show because they needed something desperately to put on opposite Lucy and Gunsmoke.
Wow. And where did you start off? Like what would be your break?
Is this an hour show?
Yeah, you got time.
Well, no, I started out in St. Louis, Missouri, and I went to school in Marshall, Missouri on a football scholarship. Came to California. I worked at the St. Louis Municipal Opera as a chorus boy, and then came to California and wound up with a scholarship to go to George Pepperdine as a football player. And I was a lousy football player, which is the reason I went into comedy.
Wow.
And then it was my own attention span and my own love of hearing laughter, which is what the book is about. The book is about adventures I had in trying to make people laugh and enjoying the sound of laughter. The best sound in the world is a big, fat laugh, unless you're on your honeymoon.
Did you do stand? Did you aspire to do stand-up at any point?
No. It's a dangerous way to make a living.
Right, but you knew you loved comedy.
Yes.
By the way, Dan Rowan retires in the 80s and splits his time between Florida and a barge.
Yes.
On the canals in France. Why do people question my memory?
You've got pretty good research there, And Dick Martin wound up at a cocktail party. He was having a good time. They were both great guys, and they didn't mind it. They didn't get in the way. They would show up and read the opening thing, and then come in and do some blackouts, and then go away and let the show happen. When they saw the show, it was always a surprise to them. I really liked them, but they were on the periphery of laughing.
Who pound for pound is the funniest person you've worked with?
Probably Lily Tomlin.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean,
she did all the characters.
Oh, gosh, she's brilliant. She is just brilliant. Goldie was a delightful personality, a delightful character. Artie Johnson was perhaps one of the most brilliant impressionist voices. Gary Owens was so straight that it really worked.
He was the announcer.
Straight announcer, yeah. Henry Gibson came in and did a little religious poem and a backflip, and it was this combination, which was sheer luck. I mean, how to round up that group of people overnight, really, and they all came in and started, and a lot of luck was involved in laughing. And the next show after that was also luck. It was Real People again, accident.
Oh, you did Real People?
Yes, that was accident.
Was that Byron Allen or was that?
Yes, Byron Allen. Byron Allen was 17 years old. And I saw him on a talk show, and I said, we didn't have any black and we didn't have any young. So we brought him in, and I talked to him, and I hired him to be one of the on-the-road hosts of Real People. Yeah,
Real People was more must-watch TV or must-see TV in the 70s.
79.
Yeah, I did a reboot of one of those shows with John Ritter a million years ago called like Ordinary Extraordinary or something.
I like John Ritter a lot. Yeah.
Oh, he was a sweet, fun guy.
Was a sweet guy.
Dad was Tex Ritter, which I didn't
Tex Ritter, nobody will remember that.
No.
But Tex Ritter was also kind of a very nice man.
Well, the Bedtime for Bonzo crew will remember who Tex Ritter was.
The Bedtime for Bonzo crew may not even remember me. That's so long ago.
They know you. They know. But I forgot you did Wait, I'm sorry. Was it Real People?
Real People, yeah.
Real People.
Because there was another show that was ripped that show off, or you ripped off someone else's show.
I got ripped off a lot.
Right, because what was the other one? There was like Real People, and then there was the one. All right, you're going to remember it. Fran Tarkington.
Yeah, Speak Up. I did another show called Speak Up America that was also revolutionary and a problem. But Real People was followed by I forget what it was.
Those extraordinary somethings. There was another derivative show that had Fran Tarkington as a host. He couldn't have hosted too many shows.
Not too many. No. He took too many
John Davidson.
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
Fran Tarkington was the result of fourth down and short yardage.
Right. Was That's Incredible? Did that rip you off too?
Yeah, that was it. That's incredible. But see, you come in with something new, the idea is to copy it. But if you can come in with something that's fresh and new, it's tough to sell. The more revolutionary it is, the better it is, the tougher it is to sell, because you walk in, everybody wants another something. And so that was the result. Then we did a show called Speak Up America that was also revolutionary, where we went out on the street and talked to people and had them express their opinions, which the network thought was very dangerous.
So you always knew you didn't want to be on stage with a microphone, but you wanted to be around comedy.
I'm proving that now.
I don't know many 93-year-olds that have your process and can think as quick and recall as much as you do.
Is it possible we can go with the rest of this interview without repeating that age? Because I feel I should be carbon dated, you know? I mean, I'm the only 93-year-old I know that's still walking. So could we say, mature?
After these hits, was there a point where the network just said, yeah, if it's your idea, we'll do it? Just because you had a track record?
It's your idea. We're not going to do it. There was never an easy sell. It was because the network executives don't lose their job saying yes.
Right.
They will lose their job saying yes. As long as they say no, they can't be blamed for anything. But they are seeking. They're seeking. I long for a show where I see color and I see music you can understand, and people that you understand, that you like. It doesn't have to be all that simple. It can be staccato, because today advertising is shorter. It used to be 2-minute commercials. Now they're 10-second commercials.
Yeah.
So the attention span has shrunk, but nobody comedically is capitalizing on that.
Did you? What was it like working with Judy Garland back in the day?
It was an adventure. She was a tiny woman, but a powerful presence on stage. And my secret with Judy is I can make her laugh. And I came in there as an accident too, but I had great adventures. I did 5 shows in 6 weeks that everybody raved about. I mean, she was Judy and Lena, Judy and Mickey Rooney. Mickey
Rooney. Are you saying Lena Horne?
Lena Horne, and then Mickey Rooney. And but they were 5 specials, and the network. I got fired because the network said they wanted me to do what I'd done with Dinah. And I said, but Judy's not Dinah. Judy's a whole different person.
Dinah Shore.
Yeah, so they wanted me to do the same thing I'd done with Dinah, and I couldn't do that. So so they fired me, and they brought in Norman Jewison, and he looked at these shows and said, that's perfect. Why don't you do that? So they buried the 5 shows in the middle of a normal variety show. And
was Judy Garland on substances? Did that make it difficult, or was she just a difficult person?
No, she occasionally liked a little glass of Blue Nun Liebfraumilch, and but she was not a druggie. She was not stoned. But she would be pep pills and things. And I had more adventures. I had more fun with Judy Garland. You cannot imagine. When she walked on stage, she was an event, and the audience went crazy. And but she was not. They wanted me to do Dinah Shore show with Judy Garland. Impossible. And so they wanted her to talk like we'd done with Dinah. So I got a steamer trunk, and she'd come out and tell old stories. The network said, "No, we don't want. We want you did with Dinah." I said, "You're not going to do it."
Yeah, Dinah went on to have a long-running talk show.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
So she liked to talk.
Yeah, and she liked to listen. I loved Dinah. Dinah was the sweetest, nicest, most talented woman. I just loved her.
Well, she passed some years ago, I'm guessing. I mean, you've probably outlived all these.
You're going to hit that
people.
93 again.
No, I'm not. I'm
thinking about it. Right. By the way, you are 93 years old, going on 95.
Dinah Shore, when I was kind of interesting. I don't think she was a lesbian.
Whoa.
But she's now.
George didn't see that coming.
I just heard your last discussion about how a lesbian. It was the whole thing about lesbians.
She died at 77. I mean, she was married and stuff, but she's associated with the Dinah Shore Classic in Palm Springs, which is sort of a big lesbian weekend. So
Dinah Shore was probably as far away from being a lesbian as I am from being a jockey.
This is my point. But now, when I hear Dinah Shore, I think lesbian.
Well, that's too bad. Because you're alone. Nobody else did.
Come on, Alonzo.
No, I think of a golf tournament, but I don't think of the
golf
lesbian
tournament
aspect. You're right. You're right. It is.
What was the
but
man
I don't
your
think
age
of it
doing
that
at
way.
a golf tournament to begin with? What the hell were you doing?
I wasn't there. The Dinah Shore Golf Tournament's one of the major
stops
women's golf tournaments. Right? Yeah, it's one of the big ones.
Palm Springs.
I think of Palm
Springs. You didn't have to be a lesbian to do a golf tournament.
No, that's just Adam.
That's just me.
That's just Adam.
I'm a free associator.
Well,
I think Palm Springs reminds you of lesbians.
Palm Springs.
No, that event is big. Yeah,
In the
it's
lesbian
big
community.
in the lesbian
There's
calendar.
nothing
Yeah,
wrong-
as far as I know, it is.
I
But
like lesbians. They cut down on the competition.
Yeah, I'm all for lesbians too. I just mean,
let's hear it for the lesbians.
Hey.
So Dinah,
Yes.
you did their special, the Judy Garland's special.
Cher, did a TV series with Cher.
Yes.
Oh, wait, what series did you do with Cher?
I did her series. And
Oh, you did her show.
Yeah, and I did her first show away from Sunny, and it was an adventure. You know what
I
mean?
never. Speaking of Palm Springs, I don't like Sonny Bono.
You did?
I don't.
Well, you don't know him.
I know, but all I know is he was a sort of beatnik in the 60s and then
Yeah.
became a real straight Republican guy in
Yeah.
the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
And I thought he's sort of a chameleon. He's just being what's going to get him elected or paid or laid or something.
Is that different from the stars of today?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't like any
But
of
he
them
was-
either. But
You've got a
he
problem.
was the mayor of Palm Springs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
but-
is just above. Like what do you do? Like what's the mayor of Palm Springs?
You
is there
eat
any
for
power?
free.
Right?
Sonny
Is there any
Bono,
power
Sonny-
involved in that? Or
Sonny Bono created Cher.
Right.
And they were married, and she listened to him, and he guided her career, and it was a major, wonderful relationship, which when she lost Sonny Bono, it was difficult. And so that's when I arrived, and Sonny, she was not going to let another man tell her what to do, because Sonny had controlled her. And so Sonny and I were always a bit at odds. Well, Cher and I was convincing Cher to do things she wasn't sure of, so she called me Hammer. Her name for me was, okay, Hammer.
they had the original transgender child, Chaz
Yes,
Bono.
they did.
Oh, that's
Yes,
right,
they
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Well,
That-
you did do some research, didn't you?
I could remember them finishing the show with Chastity. Chastity is a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, like little blonde girl, the cutest little blonde
Yes,
girl
she
in the
was.
world.
Yes, she was.
And then became Chaz before it was all the rage. I mean,
Yes.
15, 20 more than years ago. And then used to kind of make the rounds, like show up on talk shows and
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah,
beat the
yeah,
drum
yeah.
for the cause and stuff. I have not
We haven't heard from Chaz.
Haven't
This is
heard
the
from
time
Chaz.
for Chaz to be
You
out.
think? Yeah, I think Caitlyn Jenner, like Deep Six Chaz or something. I don't know, but
You do a lot of research.
where
don't
is
you?
Chaz? Well, I have a memory that knows, what Rowan and Martin's personal life was like
Wow.
just from reading their
Origin
wiki
stories of-
page
You
once.
have a wealth of useless information, but I think that's. But Cher, I love Cher. I had fun with Cher. Cher would have been a star elevator operator. She was unique. She was irreverent. She was all different kinds of things. But she was an event, and I had a great time with Cher. I still love her.
But so you had to work with some pretty strong women.
I had Doris Day. I mean, I worked with Doris Day. I didn't say I had.
Chaz Bono was in Curb Your Enthusiasm
Yeah,
episode 2 years ago.
yeah.
I did not know that.
I had another adventure with Doris Day. She was a piece of work, and I loved her.
What's a piece of work mean?
Well, I mean, it's an adventure. Those women become important because of their irreverence, because they are an event. Cher was an event, and Doris Day was an event. Dinah and Judy. I've been fortunate enough to worked with a number of those people, including Goldie and Lily. Wow.
But it says here you had Lucille Ball ride an elephant down Broadway.
Yeah, well, that was what happened was I was doing the
that.
Dinah Shore Chevy show, and I knew Lucy and Desi because I was managing Ciro's. And they said I was a bouncer. I was an executive in charge of emergency departures.
Is that? Wait a minute.
I like it.
Ciro's is where the comedy.
Bouncer, I like that.
It's where the comedy store is
That's
now, right?
And so Lucy and Desi used to come in there all the time. So I had a relationship with the two of them, and so she wanted her son Desi to hear a little about rock and roll band. And so I booked him on the Dinah Shore show. So Lucy and I had a relationship.
Oh, he played the drums, right?
Yes, he did. And so
I know what everyone's kid's up to.
So when I was signed to
becoming a woman.
Signed to do the Steve Lawrence show, I couldn't get anybody to guest star because it was going to be in New York, and it was the last show CBS bought, and it was in black and white. So I called Lucy, and I wanted her to do the show. And she said, "Why? Why would I go to New York? Why am I going to do that?" I said, "Okay, but what do I do with this elephant?" She said, what are you talking about? What elephant? I said, well, I've hired an elephant to come through Schubert Alley with you and Steve Lawrence at 11 o'clock Saturday night singing together. And what am I going to do with this elephant? She said, I'll tell you what to do with that. So she agreed to show up, and we did. I got arrested, and she wouldn't let me go to jail without the elephant. But we developed a wonderful, wonderful relationship with Lucy. And that was just another one of the accidents that turned into a very fortunate event.
I mean, this is a who's who of female power brokers in Hollywood before many women were, before Oprah, essentially.
Yeah.
Like these are
icons,
but powerful icons. Not
well,
just
they were
funny.
powerful before. The only problem was the network or the industry recognizing their power. I mean, choreographer was Dee Dee Wood. She was better than anybody. And Carolyn Raskin developed all of the editing techniques that are now commonplace. And so women have been a large part of my success, including my wife, Jolene. That was the luckiest thing I ever did.
Is little Ricky still alive?
I don't know.
I haven't heard anything for Lucy, and Ricky Ricardo had little Ricky, and he played the drums.
Yes.
He was on the show, right?
And he'd be popped up on the show, and he'd have to be, in his 60s or 70s now, I guess. But I never
70. He's 70.
He's around.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does the son of a superstar become a legend at 70? Little Ricky was a cute kid. I liked him.
Yeah. And played the drums. I think you could teach any kid to play the drums. You got him early.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
or at least good enough for a 6-year-old if you put the drum kit in the room when they were 3.
The guy from Def Leppard could do it with one arm.
That's right.
But the women...
Is that what you do when you don't like a neighbor? You buy their kid a set of drums?
Yeah. Or you can buy your kid a set of drums, put them in the yard.
You can weaponize, I'm sure.
The luck I've had with women, obviously Jolene is the reason why I'm here, but those women, Lucy and Doris Day and Dinah and all of those women, I've been very, very fortunate for, a straight guy.
Of course.
George Schlatter, Still Laughing, A Life in Comedy.
Read the book. Did you read the book?
No, but I'm going to.
Well,
wait a minute, is this it?
That's it right there.
Oh, good. I was
It's
just looking
a
at
whole series of my adventures and misadventures. I just sat down and started talking into a tape recorder, and all of that just came out as my adventures and episodes in my long and suspicious career.
And there's a foreword by the aforementioned Lily Tomlin as well. By the way, you can get it wherever you find books.
Or I go door to door. I will show up at your door.
It'll come out
I don't imagine it's
this Tuesday.
I don't imagine it's going to be a huge seller. Who wants to rush out and buy a book by a 93-4-year-old joke junkie? But it's got some interesting episodes in there.
And book signings coming up at the Los Angeles Barnes & Noble at the Grove, and that'll be Sunday.
I keep joking. I say, this is my first book, and next year I'm going to read another one. But it was fun. It was just me talking about adventures and misadventures and funny things that have happened to, around, and about me. And it's an interesting read. I read it myself.
And you enjoy it. Listen, I've written a few books, and at some point, 5 years on, I'd listen to the audiobook, and I'd go, oh, that's funny.
Well,
yeah.
It's been a long and a suspicious career. I've had a really good time. I've had a good time today.
Good.
Following your last interview, I think I was a breath of fresh air.
Ouch.
That's a hate crime.
Ouch, that hurt.
Now you're getting a plug, Alonzo.
What did I do?
AlonzoBodden.com is where you can find all live shows. Flappers coming up in Burbank, Hermosa Beach.
All right, that's good.
Charleston Music Hall in
right.
Charleston, South Carolina. Me, and go to amcarolla.com.
I know a lot about Alonzo.
Shows, stand-up everywhere. So, until next time, Adam Kroll for Alonzo Bodden and George Schlatter and Chris Max Battis saying, mahalo.